What's going on, everybody? Travis Witherspoon here, Carter Cal Capital, helping you fight for your financial freedom throughout the forex market. This is 6:15, another edition of Trade with Travis Live. Sorry for being late. I literally just dropped off my kids from to the daycare and everything else like that. Let's go ahead and get into some trades. If you are watching this live, I am literally talking about a couple trades that are live and happening right now. So if you're interested in being able to learn a little bit more information about that, let's go ahead and get into it. So. Here we go. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from the education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. I understand that forex trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money, also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you can end up making money today. Wow, I went through that fast. So I literally just took a trade on DAX, German 40. We end up talking about how interest rates and everything else are about to end up coming out. And currently, right now, what we've been looking at is these pockets when it comes down to trades. If you end up making profit off of this yesterday, congratulations. That's something that we end up talking about all the way through. End up making a 60% return on investment when it came down to US 30 yesterday. And literally, it was a 100% return, but I did not get out fast enough. So it's on me on that one. But this is what I'm looking at on German 40. I literally just took a trade on it. Market is pushing to the downside. Currently, right now, we have a breakout of the inner and outer trend line, and currently, right now, it's pushing back up to the upside as well. So the market is considered to be bearish, but if you take a look at what's happening from a daily perspective, the market has not retested this overall area, and there's a gap in this area as well. So I am trading towards that gap as a scalp more than anything else like that. So a couple things to be able to take a look at. One, we take a look at volume profile. What do we see? We just left one pocket. We are leaving the overall high volume area for the pocket, but we're basically doing a little bit of a retest. So it's retesting towards the backside. I expect that the market could possibly go up to 13,959. Now, do I think that I'm going to stay in that position the whole time? No, I think I'm probably going to end up trying to get as much as I possibly can based off of that movement. So what I end up doing, and literally it just happened off of my system, so I'm going to end up showing it based off of the system. I end up taking a trade right when this market ended up getting out of this low pocket area. And currently, right now, I have three take profits that are kind of set up. The take profit one is going to end up being the long term one. It's going to end up being at 13,895. My second take profit will end up being at 13,827. Then after that, will end up being at 13,714. So if you are interested, there you go. There goes the numbers for that overall area. But essentially, what I'm doing is I'm getting out in these areas of where the pocket is about to close up when it comes down to that spot. On the down chain, we can see that the market is bullish. On the moving average, we can see that the market is bullish. We got a counter trend. Cover that ended up happening. All we got to do is just break out of this little bit of consolidation. If we break out of consolidation, then I think we could run. Obviously, we're protecting ourselves. I'm placing my stop loss just below the low of this last high volume node, which was at 13,433. So there you go. If you're interested in being able to take that trade, I literally just took this trade a minute before we end up getting started. We'll see how it kind of ends up playing out. But there we go when it comes down to that information. I'm just placing in the last portion of this. Now, once again, this is for educational purposes only for the people that are looking at it like that. If you end up deciding to be able to take this trade, you're taking it straight off your own merit. But feel pretty good about it. Now, keep this in mind. This trade I'm probably going to only be in this trade for maybe a couple hours. I'm not interested in being able to stay into it for a long term. The reason being is because I still believe that the market is considered to be bearish, but we do need to have a little bit of a retracement when it comes down to this overall downside move. We've had a few weeks of overall downside movements. So it wouldn't surprise me if we end up getting and leaving this high pocket area to where this market can be able to have a little bit of an explosive area to be able to make a move up to the upside based off of that as well. Currently, right now, we are up. I just want to see how this market kind of plays off. So there we go. That's one of them. The second one that I ended up taking a trade off of was US 30. US 30 right now. Like I ended up saying yesterday, we ended up making 60% return on investment when it came down to that move. To be able to show you social proof, I ended up doing everything on my FX book, so you can be able to see exactly where I ended up getting exactly my overall stuff when it came down to that. So there we go. Here's the volume profile tester, currently up on all of our stuff over 2,000%, which is awesome. But First trades we end up taking end up being all shorts. Right now, currently, we are taking a buy trade. Currently, at this particular point, I don't know if would this actually show the actual trades that I'm actually in. I guess so. So what I ended up doing was that I ended up placing in a buy, and then after that, I have a buy stop that is in that area as well, based off of the pivot points. Remember, we have interest rate decisions, FOMC news that's about to end up coming out a little bit later on today. I say that because I think that ultimately, typically, what happens before the FOMC is that the market moves up in one direction, and then after that, it starts to be able to react in another direction before the market starts to slow down. So I think that market makers are kind of allowing the market to be pushed up. So ultimately, when it gets to this point, it can fall down again and fall down a little bit stronger. Plus, I think people are finding a little bit of value based off of that move. But overall, I still have a mindset of this market being bearish. I still think this market will end up going ultimately down to 27,475. We can see that if we go back and look at all of the news, once we end up breaking past this overall area to the downside, then we have a very small window of a pocket to the downside from there. That's why every buy trade, I'm very short term when it comes down to mindset. Every sell trade, obviously, I am kind of long term when it comes down to that. So take a look at this from a 2-hour perspective. What I ended up doing was I ended up taking a buy at 30,599. Currently, right now, that is up right around $300 for this move on this one as well. With this waiting to see how this market's going to end up moving up to the upside. So my take profit points are at at 31,390. 31,390 is the take profit area when it comes down to that move. The reason why I say 31,390 is because that's just filling out that pocket on the 2-hour perspective. So there we go. For the people that are interested in that trade, good luck to you if you end up taking that. Ultimately, I do think that the market is going to end up being bearish, but I am trying to make something now before the market starts to U-turn going into later on today, and then ultimately I will look at being able to sell once that market gets back to that point. What else? What else am I in? Nas 100. I'm in Nas 100, taking a look at that move, seeing how the market's kind of reacting off of that. Currently, right now, I am up off of that pair as well, based off of some breakout buys and everything else. We'll see how that kind of reacts. It's seen a little bit of a retracement off of this move. I think that tech stocks are going to end up being mostly affected about the news that's going to end up happening a little bit later on today. So we had that same movement, but once again, I'm trading towards this little pocket area right here. Take profits are going to end up being just before this overall area at 11,000. I got 11,828 as a take profit. So I do expect that if this market definitely remains to break out of this overall levels, then it's going to end up going up and hitting that level first, but before ultimately falling down again, and being able to go from there. All right, so that is what I'm in when it comes down to that pair. What else? What else? What else? What else? Every other pair at this particular point in time, I'm just kind of waiting for it. Now, we are at a pivot level, and at this pivot level, the market could basically reject off of it and be able to push down to the downside. So I am kind of conservative off of most of these moves. So I would kind of recommend that you would as well. But we are kind of looking at it from there. I wanted to make this a short and sweet video just to be able to kind of let everybody know what we're doing. And then after that, obviously, we can be able to go from there. But if you like what we end up doing, please make sure that you end up liking the Carter Cow Capital business page. I will go through tomorrow morning and have a full series. But I'm actually, next video that I'm actually about to make, which is going to end up being in the next few minutes, is actually going to end up being a lesson video. So I wanted to make sure I end up having enough time to where I can get people to be able to see it. But we're going to talk about bond profile and the pockets and being able to exploit it in our next video, which is probably going to end up coming up in the next 10 to 15 minutes. So for the people that are watching live, just make sure that you end up tapping in with me again today. Today is going to end up being a lesson for us, everything else for us information. So like always, plan your trade your plan. Everyone, see you a little bit later on. Back to you.